Hey folks, welcome to this edition of the Bartimaeus Report. But before we begin, could you just go over to the like and subscribe button? Helps me and helps you. And if you hit the subscribe, you'll be informed every time there's a new edition of the Bartimaeus Report. So let's begin the Bartimaeus Report. Well, recently Afghanistan has been in the news, and it's interesting to see what the pundits and talking heads have to say. I think the vast majority of them really fail to understand exactly what has happened in Afghanistan. They understand what is really happening in the Middle East, and they really fail to understand that there truly is an Islamic insurgency, there's an Islamic jihad. And I'm going to show you a series of clips, and then I'm going to come back and make some comment.
You have declared a jihad against the United States. Can you tell us why?
The US government has committed acts that are extremely unjust, hideous and criminal through its support of the Israeli occupation of Palestine. And we believe the US is directly responsible for those killed in Palestine, Lebanon and Iraq. Due to its subordination to the Jews, the arrogance of the United States regime has reached the point that they occupied Arabia, the holiest place of the Muslims, who are more than 1 billion people in the world today. For this and other acts of aggression and injustice, we have declared jihad against the US.
Is the jihad directed against the US government or United States troops in Arabia? What about U.S. civilians in Arabia or the people of the United States?
We have focused our declaration of jihad on striking at the U.S. soldiers inside Arabia, the country of the two holy places, Mecca and Medina. In our religion, it is not permissible for any non-Muslim to stay in Arabia. Therefore, even though American civilians are not targeted in our plan, they must leave. We do not guarantee their safety.
It's our belief that one day Mujahideen will have victory and Islamic law will come not to just Afghanistan, but all over the world. We are not in a hurry. We believe it will come one day. Jihad will not end until the last day.
I want to take this opportunity to speak to our brothers, the Taliban. We call on you to ensure the safe and secure passage of any individual in Afghanistan out of the country.
I don't know what will happen to me, because if they find me, they will kill me.
I feel very bad. Now we don't have everything.
I had lots of dreams, I had lots of hopes, but now I am in a bad situation.
What Taliban did to the woman, it's taking somebody's life.
That young woman who at Kabul airport has her face pressed up against the bars and she's screaming that Taliban is coming, and you hear the abject terror in her voice.
Okay, and so we see the great tragedy that is happening in Afghanistan. Really is, I guess one of the things that I find a bit troubling is that we focus in on ourselves, on what, getting, Americans and Canadians out of Afghanistan, and lose sight of the great tragedy that has happened to the people of Afghanistan, and especially the women and what their plight is. This is a tragedy beyond measure. But we need to understand why this is happening. And I put down a list here, and I just want to make sure I cover everything, because there is just, like I say, another failure by our politicians to understand exactly what Islam is. Islam is not a religion. It uses religious language, but it is not a religion. It has to be seen. If we're going to have any idea of what is happening, is we have to understand that Islam is a political system garbed in religious language. We all have to understand, for Muslims, the Taliban, the world is divided into two houses or two spheres. The house of Islam and peace, and the house of war, or the house of the kafir. And who are the kafirs? Well, they are the ones who suppress the truth and make mischief in the land. And you are to, in Islam, those who make mischief in the land are to be gotten rid of, or they are to be killed. In fact, the Quran is very clear: for those who make mischief in the land, they are to have their hands and feet cut off from either side and to be crucified. They are the ones who basically oppose the Prophet of Islam. Why do you think Ayatollah Khomeini referred to the United States and Iran, and these people refer to the United States as the great Satan? The other thing that you need to understand is jihad is to continue until the Sharia is established, or the Caliphate is established throughout the whole world. It was interesting, on Facebook, I posted something, jihad today, jihad tomorrow, jihad until the last day. And I was getting thumbs up from Muslims because they understand. They understand what jihad is. And some try to say, well, it's, inner struggle. I mean, I don't care about the inner struggle, and I don't think anyone else does. I don't care what you eat. I don't care, how you pray or when you pray. But Islam, or jihad, is a struggle until the Sharia is established. This is what we have to understand. And again, Islam means submission. Submission to Muhammad and the Sharia. And we have to understand also there are categories of people. In Islam, there are the believers, Muslims who obey the Prophet and who want to establish the Sharia. The hypocrites are those Muslims, well, they're not really Muslims. In fact, the Muslims who are suffering in Afghanistan, according to the Taliban, are the hypocrites. They conspired with the West. They wanted to modernize the country. Of course, the Taliban wanted to modernize the country, but in an Islamic mindset. They're going to, as they did in the past, I understand, ban music. Music is haram in Islam. Music and flying kites. This is their view. And of course, then if you're a Muslim who likes music, you're a hypocrite. And so we have to understand too, and I just want to make this point, is that the Taliban are a faction of how to establish the Sharia. The ISIS is another faction, how to establish the Sharia. Al-Qaeda is another one. And so you have these factions, but their goals are basically the same. And I think I made the comment once, the difference between the Taliban and ISIS, if I can use the analogy, is the difference between a Baptist and a Presbyterian, or a Lutheran and a Presbyterian. And then there are the kafirs. I'm a kafir. I'm one who makes mischief in the land. And if, of course, if you refuse to accept Muhammad as a prophet, if you refuse to buy into Islamic theology, and you are a kafir, you're the worst of creatures, you are opposing Muhammad. And then there are the dhimmis. And this I find very troubling. And the troubling part is basically a dhimmi is one who is not a Muslim but submits to Islam, and he is forced to basically he is forced into being humiliated. The United States, in the sight of the Taliban, is a dhimmi nation. They were humiliated with their withdrawal from Afghanistan. They left all this equipment behind. That is tribute. They're a dhimmi basically lives in a state of basically of servitude to the Muslim community. He is to be humiliated, and he is to pay a poll tax for protection. And we see this basically in a lot of U.S. foreign policy, and Canadian foreign policy as well, where we are giving these countries millions and millions of dollars, basically so that we will protect it, so to buy peace with it. And I just want to say that this is, I don't want to tag your Muslim neighbor that way. You know, our Muslim neighbors, they want to get through life just like I do. But we are looking at the ideology of Islam. And as I said, the ideology of Islam, it is more than just a religion. It is a political system in religious garb. And I also think that there's a spiritual dynamic as well. And this spiritual dynamic comes from the evil one. And so we have to understand that the weapons of our warfare are not, are not carnal. They have to go beyond just a bigger gun or more equipment, but in the proclamation of the gospel and in prayer. Anyways, brothers, sisters, and for those who are outside the Christian faith, be blessed, have a great day, and may God bless. Thanks for watching. And, by the way, I do think I want to have another teaching, again, on political Islam and how to understand Islam. I do recommend watching videos by Bill Warner. I think it's on his political Islam. They're very, very informative on the political aspect of that. And I also recommend a book. You can get it at Amazon. In fact, I will give a challenge to my American friends. Buy a couple books. I think they're about $10 to $12 US. Keep one for yourself and send one to your congressman and one to your senator. Anyways, you all have a great day. God bless, and thanks for watching this edition of the Bartimaeus Report.